When you think of the octagon, you picture precision, discipline, and controlled aggression. Fighters giving their all within a space built for competition. But outside that cage, there are no rules, no referees, and no second chances. That's the harsh reality that former UFC fighter and coach Suman Mokhtarian faced. A man who survived wars inside the octagon, only to fall victim to real violence on the streets of Sydney. It was an ordinary Wednesday evening in October 2025. The 33-year-old had stepped out for a quiet walk in Riverstone, a peaceful suburb in Sydney's northwest. He wasn't out looking for conflict. He wasn't in a rough part of town. He was simply taking a stroll, something millions of people do every day. But that short walk turned fatal when a red Audi suddenly pulled up beside him on Anna Luke Street. Within seconds, the calm evening shattered. Gunfire broke the silence. Sharp, echoing cracks that sent panic through the neighborhood. Witnesses later recalled the chaos. A child on a bicycle froze in shock just meters away, and residents rushed to their windows, terrified by what they were hearing. Paramedics arrived almost instantly, doing everything they could to save him, but it was already too late. Suman Mctarian was pronounced dead at the scene. Police didn't mince words. This wasn't random. It wasn't a robbery or a confrontation gone wrong. It was a targeted attack carried out with precision and intent. And disturbingly, this wasn't the first attempt on Mokhtarian's life. There had been warnings, whispers, and an earlier brush with danger, but no one expected it to end like this. The tragedy has now opened up a much bigger conversation about organized crime, underworld connections, and the growing violence in Sydney's suburbs. For a man who built his life on discipline and resilience, Mokhtarian's story is a haunting reminder that sometimes the fight outside the cage is the one you never see coming. The road to the octagon. To really understand how things reach this point, you have to go back to where it all started. To the man behind the fighter, Suman Mokhtarian wasn't just some guy who liked throwing punches. He was a professional mixed martial artist who actually made it to the UFC, the biggest stage in combat sports, a place reserved only for the best of the best. He fought twice, in 2018 and 2019, in the featherweight division. And yes, he didn't walk away with wins, but that doesn't tell the real story. What truly mattered was that he made it there, something thousands of fighters dream about but never achieve. That alone says a lot about his dedication, discipline, and the kind of work ethic that defined him. But here's where Suman really found his purpose. After he stepped away from competition, once the gloves were hung up, he became a full-time coach at Australian Top Team, a well-known gym in Wentworthville, in Sydney's west. This wasn't just any gym tucked away in some strip mall. It was a training ground for rising talent, and Suman was right in the center of it. Alongside his brother Ashkan Mctarian, he helped shape some of Australia's most promising MMA fighters. His students didn't just see him as a coach, they saw him as a mentor, even a brother. One of his students, Jesse Swain, shared a heartfelt post on Instagram that summed up Suman perfectly. "Suman believed in me more than I believed in myself. I owe all I've done in MMA to him." That single line captures who Suman was. Someone who poured belief into others even when they struggled to find it in themselves. He pushed people to be better, to see beyond their limits. And that's what makes his death so hard to process. How could someone who spent his life lifting others up end up being taken down in such a senseless way? It's a loss that goes beyond the sport, a loss that hits everyone who ever walked through those gym doors or heard him say, "You've got this." When violence came knocking, by early February 2024, things took a dark and terrifying turn for Suman Mokhtarian. Outside the very place where he spent his days teaching and inspiring young fighters, the Australian Top Team gym, violence came calling. A gunman opened fire right there in front of the gym. Somehow, Suman survived that attack. But from that day forward, everything changed. It wasn't a random act. It wasn't some street-level argument that got out of hand. This was deliberate. Someone wanted him dead, and that failed attempt was a warning shot, a message. Suman took it seriously. He started living cautiously, knowing danger could be waiting anywhere. He even canceled an MMA event he was scheduled to attend in April, fearing another attempt on his life. Imagine that. A man who'd spent years training others to face fear, now forced to live with it every single day. According to law enforcement sources, the danger was coming from one of Sydney's most notorious criminal syndicates, the Escalating network. Police intelligence suggested the group had ordered a hit on Mctarian, allegedly over a drug rip, meaning they believed he had some involvement in stealing a large stash of drugs. Whether that was true or not, one fact was clear. The Escalating group had put a price on his head. And here's the chilling part, that contract wasn't new. Investigators believe the order for his assassination had been circulating for over 18 months before the day he was finally killed. Think about that. Living for more than a year and a half, knowing someone out there wants you gone, always watching your surroundings, shutting down your own gym out of fear, canceling events, taking every precaution you can, and still, in the end, being unable to outrun what was coming. For Suman Mokhtarian, the fighter who once stepped into cages to face men twice his size, this was a battle he never had a fair chance to fight. The hallmarks of organized crime. The way Suman Mctarian was killed had all the fingerprints of an organized hit. Just minutes after he was gunned down, chaos spread across Sydney's northwest. Two separate vehicles, a red Audi near the scene and a white van not far away, were found engulfed in flames. Both were completely destroyed. For investigators, this was no mystery. It's a signature move in Sydney's ongoing gang wars, burning getaway cars to wipe away fingerprints, DNA, and any trace that could tie suspects to the scene. It's quick, ruthless, and effective. Police quickly locked down the area and established 3 separate crime scenes to piece together what had just happened. Superintendent Jason Joyce addressed the media soon after, his frustration evident. It's very brazen, and it's a shame that this is happening in our community. He called it heartbreaking, a violent act carried out in a quiet neighborhood where families are supposed to feel safe, and he made it clear that police would not tolerate this kind of brutality. Investigators later obtained dashcam footage showing the red Audi speeding away from the scene. It captured only a glimpse, but it was enough to confirm how fast and calculated the escape was. Still, even with burned cars and video evidence, the case remains wide open. Detectives are still chasing leads, trying to answer the biggest question of all: who actually pulled the trigger? The broader picture. What makes this even more disturbing is that Suman's murder wasn't an isolated tragedy. It's part of something much bigger. Over the past few years, Sydney has seen a surge in public, broad daylight shootings, often linked to gang feuds and organized crime. These aren't happening in dark alleyways. They're happening on quiet suburban streets, right in front of homes and parks where children play. The sheer recklessness of it is hard to believe. Remember when Mctarian was shot, a small child was just yards away, riding a bike. That image alone says everything about how out of control things have become. Locals were left shaken. One neighbor, Ben, told the Sydney Morning Herald there was a large commotion. A lot of people were just shocked because they've never witnessed anything like this. Another resident, Natalie, painted a chilling picture of what everyday life has turned into. The shooting happened with children literally riding bikes around the park. For Sydney's communities, this wasn't just another crime scene. It was a wake-up call. The kind of violence that once seemed distant has now moved right into their streets. The unanswered questions. Even now, there's still so much that doesn't add up. After the February 2024 attempt on Suman Mctarian's life, police managed to arrest 2 young men, aged just 19 and 20. According to investigators, they were believed to be working under the Escalating crime network, one of Sydney's most dangerous and well-connected gangs. But when it comes to the October shooting, the one that finally took Suman's life, things get murkier. As of the most recent updates, the manhunt is still active. No one knows for sure who pulled the trigger that night. The identity of the killer remains a mystery, and the streets of Sydney are still holding their breath for answers. So, what really happened? Did the Escalating network finally make good on the hit that had been ordered nearly 2 years earlier? Was it payback for something deeper? Or could it have been someone completely different with their own motive? Until someone is caught, these questions hang heavy, unanswered, and unsettling. The legacy he left behind. But beyond the headlines and the speculation, what truly defines Suman Mctarian is not how he died, but how he lived. He wasn't just another fighter chasing a dream. He was a teacher, a mentor, and a believer in others. He realized early on that his purpose went far beyond the cage. His passion wasn't just about throwing punches, it was about building people up, shaping raw potential into skill, and giving young fighters the confidence to believe they could make it. His students saw him as more than a coach. He was a friend, a motivator, someone who saw greatness in them before they could see it themselves. When news of his death broke, the MMA community across Australia fell silent. Fighters, trainers, and fans alike shared tributes, remembering him not just for his fights, but for the kind of person he was, the kind of coach who made others better, inside and outside the gym. Final thoughts. The death of Suman Mokhtarian is more than just another entry in Sydney's growing list of organized crime killings. It's the story of a 33-year-old man, a coach, a brother, and a mentor, whose life was stolen in broad daylight on a quiet suburban street where kids should have been safe to play. His family lost a son, his brother lost a partner and friend, and his students lost a guiding voice they might never replace. For the MMA community, it was a gut punch, a reminder that even those who dedicate their lives to discipline, honor, and respect aren't safe from the chaos unfolding in their own city. The investigation may still be open and the gunman still out there. But one truth stands clear. Suman Mokhtarian's story exposes the dark underbelly of organized crime in Australia, a world where violence ignores boundaries and good people get caught in its crossfire. It's a heartbreaking end to a life that was meant to inspire, and a tragic reminder of just how fragile peace has become in Sydney's streets.